Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle show right here with CJ Knapp. That's a cool last name.
Yeah.
The way you spell it. I know some professional baseball players, Nepper and these guys, they all spelled it with a K and then the N, right?
It has a silent K and an extra P.
There you go. But welcome CJ to the studio right now. We've got the walls set up already. We'll get to our sponsors in a minute, but I wanted to do a different style introduction here because we're going to start off real quickly with look at the incredible work we have here on the wall. I'm going to switch over to everybody over here so you can really see some of the good stuff we've got here in studio, because when you see this kind of work, this is what people dream of, right? This is like dream home style stuff. Is that what you do?
Well, that's what we create. We create your dream, and we don't do anything cookie cutter. We want it to be your dream. We want it to be about you and what you need in your home.
Well, and that's the key to this, because there are so many times when people are at a stage in life, they're just like, I need something to represent all of the hard work I've put in, right?
You hit the nail right on the head.
Is that what I'm talking
I always
about?
say it's your home, it's not mine. That's why the name of my company is Yours by Design instead of CJ's Interiors, because they aren't mine. It's all about you and how you live your life and what you want in your home, so that you're comfortable when you come home and so that things are functioning for you the way they need to be.
We always are trying to find the method to help demonstrate to people, the experts in our community, they're making a difference, that really help, especially when you get into the housing industry. The title of the show is called Your Little Castle, because isn't that what everybody wants? Everybody wants their little castle.
I got excited when I found out the title of your show was Your Little Castle, because I believe that that's true, that it's your money. You're paying that mortgage. So you should enjoy your home. You should come home and feel comfortable in your house, and you've earned it.
Well, and that's, again, what we talk about. It's a matter of if we're going to have experts, then we want those experts to be able to give people the information that they need so that they can get a house that represents everything that they've worked for, and the family and stuff that they can have to enjoy and raise their kids. I mean, how much of this really gets into a matter of you're just helping fulfill somebody's entire dream, right?
Right. I always say get an interior designer and a contractor involved as soon as you can. I've seen so many couples and just people in general buying the wrong house because they bought from emotion. They bought from desperation, and they end up with something that's too big or too small and doesn't fit their needs, or something that they have to do a lot of remodeling to, and they don't really have the time or the energy or the patience to go through it. So you really need somebody helping you to look at it to make sure that it's fitting everything that your family needs and that you need. If you run a business out of your home, we want to make sure that your business can run out of that home successfully, and that you have the space for it.
Absolutely. That is the essence behind what we all espouse to. When you start when you're growing up as a kid, and you're going, I really want to, chase this particular career path, but they all say back to, I want to have that home that I can say is mine, that I've earned, that I've built, to look the way they want to look and represent who they are.
If you go back historically and you look at some of the historic homes in St. Louis and you think about how they built their companies, they would buy like a vase from China or Japan, just show that they were worldly, that they were able to afford to buy things that were expensive, and they would place that on their mantle so people could see what kind of wealth they had. Well, today it's more about, if you work very hard for your money and to rise up in your company or rise up in your field, and you deserve to have a home that reflects that for you. It should be comfortable, it should be functional, and it should, if you like to barbecue, it should have a wonderful place to barbecue. If you like to watch movies, it should have a wonderful movie room. It should fit you and your lifestyle.
Well, and that's why we're so excited to have you in studio, because when you really get into the experts that do this and make it happen, that's why let's start off real quick here. We got to jump in and share a little bit. Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. How appropriate for what we're talking about here, and how often you have people that have Carroll House Furniture in their homes that you're working
Absolutely. With. I go to Carroll House Furniture with clients, and I do know Brooke Dubman. He's a nice guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
We love having them as a sponsor, and his sister Amy there, you can see they do a great thing, because you like nice things in your house. The Flowers team here, as you can see on the wall behind us. I'm going to do the TV wide wall shot here, and so you can see all of what's going on here. But here they are, USA Mortgage, powered by the Flowers team. There's Emily. She's a certified divorce lending professional, and Steve, her husband, do an incredible job. I have my license with them, and you'll see our license disclosures information at the end of the show here. Give you all the information how you can figure out who we are and why we love helping the community here. With that, let's go. I'm going to go over to your website and put that up behind the wall, on the wall behind us. There you go. And great looking work here. I mean, tell me, let's go back a little bit. Why did you get into this industry? You've been doing this for over 25 years now.
Yeah. Well, when I was a little girl, I grew up in the middle of 9 kids. And so I was always making little gifts for my brothers and sisters. We got one gift a year for Christmas, no birthday presents. And so I would make little chest of drawers out of matchstick boxes, make little beds and make slippers for them, and just always doing crafty things. My mom was always being crafty and making curtains. And I just grew up in an ever-changing household. I actually grew up in a house that had a white living room with white furniture and red sculptured carpet. And so I've been exposed to design from the time I was young and never thought about going into it as a career. Didn't even know it was a career when I was a kid, but have always been fascinated with the home industry, furniture, draperies, artwork, everything about it.
Well, and I'm putting it on the wall for everybody to see their beautiful work. You've got a number of examples, a great looking website, and really exemplifies what you do and what you stand for and the work that you represent.
We do a lot of kitchen and bath remodeling. The center picture is actually a rendering. So this is not a room that has been created yet. This is a room that we created digitally to show the client what the remodel is going to look like. And we have the ability to do renderings for you if you need that. Everybody isn't visual. They can't always see what we're trying to explain to them. So it really helps.
Well, yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because it's a virtual. Essentially, it gives them the option to see what it is they have that you can create for them without having to go through all of the work of putting together any kind of demo or design. They can see almost exactly what they would see anyway. Is that how that is portrayed? And
sometimes it's not the direction they want to go, so we just redo it, and it helps us know which way to go for them. Okay.
That's the kind of resources we get into the technology world. For years, I've worked with people about how this technology stuff is going to change the world, and you're using it that's dynamite because now you get to see, oh wow, that's what it will look like. They don't have to picture that in their mind; they can see it before.
And we do full service design. We do window treatments. We do flooring. We do custom area rugs. We do custom furniture. We did a 108-inch wide dresser for a client.
Oh wow! So that's like 8.5 feet.
That's like really big.
Yeah, that's like, if it gives you any reference, everybody. Our TV wall behind us here. This is a 11-foot diameter, but the one behind me over here, it goes off the camera over there and goes all the way down. Now, that's very large. So that's a giant dresser for somebody.
Yeah.
But you have to make that fit with all the rest of the room, and that's just
Well, experience makes sure that you know to get it in the door.
First, get it so that the diameter can fit between a 48-inch door or 57. They have double doors.
It happened to be a very, very large bedroom, and they just didn't have enough space, even with 2 closets. So we just created more space for them, and that's what we do. When we walk in a house and we see you struggling with storage, I mean, it's always obvious. Things are on the counter, things are sitting out because they don't have anywhere to go. So the first thing we want to look at is function and storage to make sure that we can correct that for you, and it'll just make your whole life easier.
Well, I mean, that's a matter of function. So now it's not just where we're talking about how you make people feel good because they've got a beautiful house that they live in. It's the functionality behind it. Those have to tie together, I guess, right?
Yep.
We're getting off of our normal. I always have a pre-list of questions I want to make sure we cover. But at any time, I feel like maybe we should talk a little more depth. But is that key to what you do so people understand? It's not just making something beautiful. It's making it functional and beautiful because you got to live there.
Right.
You got to produce what you need to get
every space that we create is beautiful, but it's also functional and comfortable. And that's key to being happy in your home. We do a lot of kitchen and bath remodels because the old kitchens just didn't function. What's available today now is just amazing. The rollouts, you can hide your mixer inside of a door. You can hide your TV inside of a door. And we're putting giant TVs in kitchens because people watch their TVs every day and they want them everywhere they're at.
Absolutely. Makes sense because, I mean, the technology is innovated. Back, what, 10, 12 years ago, we had TVs that were these big tube things, and they were big as square as round as they were wide. And now you got these flat panels. I mean, this is what we've got all around here. We've got 4 plus 9. We got 13 of them right here, and then a bunch more to do the show. But you can fit those into the space we're talking about now because they're so well designed, and it just makes them easy. You can tuck those away, is what you're saying, and put them behind in closets and etc.
My mother was big at hiding everything. All of our telephones in the house were inside of little bird houses. The TV was behind a doll house. She didn't want to see any electronics when they first came out. And she finally got over that. But I have never forgotten that. And for years, people wanted to hide them in armoires. Now we just put them right out where you can see them. Big old 50, 70-inch TVs, because it's part of your life.
Well, and that's, the function, the way our culture is designed today, we are so much more communicative, is that the right word? To where we always have something that we're interacting with, something else going on, something else that we have to get feedback from. Over-stimulus, some people argue.
Yeah.
But it helps. I mean, while we were talking, we did a nice hour and a half pregame prep for this show, and that's because none of us are in any pressure here. We have our own studio. We don't have to pay anybody.
We were enjoying ourselves, just talking.
And then that's where you get to know somebody and figure out what are they about. That's the whole concept behind the show, is so we can help people understand who our guests are and get to know them for who they really are, not just some quick, hey, click, look at this, hey, Facebook, text, email, oh, spam, woo. Hey, let's have a discussion and talk about it. And I just really loved all of your background. It got you to develop who you are and why you do what you do to help people make these kinds of very important decisions, because there's a lot of money at stake here. You're talking about the value of somebody's most important asset, right? And how important is that for you to help people with, do you think?
Well, a good interior designer should save you money, should save you stress, should save you time. It's going to cost money to do things in your house, that's for sure. But I always say it's the eye that you buy with. There's beautiful things at all price points. And so we look at your budget and decide how much we need to spend on different things with your budget. The two most important places, I think, in your house, and you'll probably agree as a mortgage guy, are the kitchens and the bathrooms.
Yep.
They make your home. If you come home to an awful bathroom, or you try to get ready in the morning in a unfunctional bathroom, it just ruins your whole day.
That is so true. And if you really start talking about the people that actually do the remodeling now, they don't remodel. I mean, they can make a garage into a extra living quarter kind of sometimes. You can fix those up. But it's always, if you're going to improve the value of your house, bathroom, kitchen. That's it, really. I mean, extra basement finished, that's nice, but always first of those two. And I can see the work. Again, take a look at the website here, if you will, for CJ, because this is an incredible display of the work she's done. That's yours, YOURS, by BY Design, DESIGN.net. That's a good name to get. That's hard to get.
I changed it. It was CJ Knapp Interiors, and I just decided I'm not a cookie cutter designer. It doesn't reflect who we are or what we do. We truly want it to be yours when we leave. And so you won't find people walking into your house saying, oh, I know so-and-so did this because it looks like them. Our houses are completely different. They reflect every client that we work with.
Well, and that's again what we want people to understand, because when you get into a situation where you've got, I've got on the wall here, I'll show with everybody real quickly. CJ gets out in the community. When she came in here before, we talked a little bit, and I said, let's take a picture of you in the studio, but also look on her, this is her Facebook page. And if you look at, she's got all kinds of fun things she shares out there. That somebody took a long time to draw that owl's wings in the snow.
No, they didn't. That owl dived down in the snow because he heard a mouse underneath there, and that's his imprint, where he dove into the snow and grabbed that mouse for lunch.
Well, that's amazing. I'm thinking the joke that somebody took the
time.
Oh,
and this is... So there's a running joke about my Christmas tree. I can't seem to get it down. Last year it was up until Easter. So I've started taking pictures of it at different stages. That was as far as my ladder would go. I think that's 9 or 10 foot tall. And well, you it's tell. Finally down, but the life-size sleigh is still in my front yard.
Well, what I wanted to show everybody is this. Look at this picture. Explain this to one, everybody.
So this
I can tell you design trees very well, because that's what you do. But look at this kitchen. Unbelievable.
So this was a client that I had done a couple houses for, and they always wanted to live in the Central West End. So the client literally spent 2 years walking the neighborhoods. trying to find a house, and she would stop anybody and ask them if they knew if there was a house for sale, if they were selling their house. And so the contractor and I would go out and look at every house that she liked till we found one that finally was the perfect house at the right price point. The problem is that kitchen had a wood burning stove in the middle of it. It had upper cabinets that were sitting on the lower. It was 3 rooms and an outside kind of a, I don't know what it was, kind of a, I don't know, I can't even explain what it was.
I mean, it just looks like you're in a palace almost.
We tore it all out. It's 27 feet by 22 feet. It's a full gourmet kitchen. And those cabinets are 13 and a half feet tall in a 14-foot room.
Wow. So just an example of some of the work you've done that really is exemplary and looks just magical. I mean, so many people dream of having houses that look like that.
Yeah, they love their kitchen. He actually is the cook. She doesn't really cook. But I mean, they have everything. There's every gourmet appliance you can imagine in that kitchen.
I was struck, and we're already halfway through our interview here for the first 30 minutes. It's Arizona ABC. We're going to do at least an hour discussion for this entire show. So if you're watching this show live on ABC right now, great. You're going to see a total of 28 minutes and 30 seconds, and not one frame over that. That's how I edit. But there's going to be at least another half hour, maybe more, because CJ has so much to share about how this industry works, her expertise, her background. You really don't want to miss that. So watch the full interview on the YouTube channel, on our Facebook. We give a copy to CJ. She can put it on her Facebook or YouTube. I've got now instructions we've written for everybody that comes into the show. Here are the 14 steps you need to take to make sure this gets the most effect to help your business, because that's what we're really trying to do.
Well, and I really appreciate that, because I struggle with trying to figure out how to reach people before they make mistakes.
That is the key to life, isn't it? I mean, if we all could just avert making the big mistakes that we all so often get caught up with because somebody would have told us not to do that.
I have clients that come to me with plans that they bought online that have to have major adjustments. They come to me after they've worked with an architect and a builder, and they have a house that's twice the size of what they need, and I have to try to make that feel comfortable for them. You've really got to get an interior designer and your contractor involved as early as you can so that you end up with what you want.
Yes, and that's where we make the point very often, as many people have heard me say before on this show, cheap can get very expensive.
Yes, it can. Yeah.
And what would you rather, especially in this case, would you rather pay for something that you have to get done? You were giving me some examples, like you have cost savings because you know the resources to go to, that the other person just goes and buys retail.
Yeah.
And spends 3-4 times as much.
We do a lot
but they got it done.
We do a lot of Airbnbs, and we love doing them because they're so fun. A lot of times they'll have a theme, but when we do an Airbnb, we do it all the way down to the glassware, the towels, the flatware, the trash can. We do everything, the drapes, the beds, the furniture, and we have access to places that are less expensive so that they can get a good deal. And we understand what people want. When you're driving across country, this is a phenomenon that I didn't know was going on, that people are driving across country and instead of staying in hotels, they rent an Airbnb. And guess what? They can take the kids' bicycles out of the moving van.
Right.
They can go to the grocery store and buy all the foods that they like. They can cook in the kitchen. All the kids can get a separate bedroom. They can walk on sidewalks in a neighborhood. It's just a wonderful thing. It's so much better than being in a hotel room. And so Airbnbs have to be set up to take care of families. So they're really one of my favorite things to do.
Well, that's when I have to put on the hat, because you're talking about community and the Cardinal Cowboy and what we stand for with regard to helping just keep us all united. Come together. We do talk about political differences in this little planet, and that's just a part of the way the world works. But I love the sports side of everything, because that's where most people put aside any particular perspective on politics and say, let's talk about how we all work together. And I think that's the key to what we all need to do. And I love the work you're doing here, because you're really helping bring families together. You're helping make the family unit something that can be,
it's the most important thing. And families, the needs of families grow and change over the years. And then once your children move out, then you're at a completely different stage. We're taking a lot of dining rooms and turning them into music rooms, turning them into offices, turning them into guest bedrooms, turning them into, a lot of people are moving home with their businesses, and we're changing them so that they can actually have people from the outside come in, clients come into their home and use their home like a business.
Well, that's where I got to talk real quickly because this is something that struck me that you do too. You design for all kinds of stuff. You helped design a selfie business,
I
right?
had never heard of it.
It's a selfie. They set up a place where you can take selfies.
So this is a young
Talk about this.
This
real
is
quick.
a young.
I'm going to put the pictures up on the wall. You can see the one I've got up there real quick, and tell me about what's going on.
This is a young entrepreneur, and she's a photographer, and she rented this very large space over in Alton and put her photography studio in it. But she wanted to do a selfie bar. So you see the little halo light. And so what you do is you put your own cell phone into that halo light, and you go into all these different rooms with all these different props. Those are 6-foot tall Victoria's Secret angel wings that you can put on in the cloud room. And this is 2 4x8 sheets of flowers. That was a lot of gluing. So there's 16 different areas that you can stick a crown on and get in front of the castle. You can be with at the pirates. There's the Pirates of the Caribbean, so there's a great big pirate ship you can stand in front of. It's so much fun for families. It's like $20 to go there for 15 minutes. But she came to me and she needed to know how to get this off the ground, and she needed some ideas for rooms to for people to take pictures in. So it's called Selfie City, and it's in Alton, Illinois. She's open now and doing just a gangbuster business.
Well, I didn't realize there's obviously a lot of business for people who just love to take selfies and imagine that they're in their own little fantasy world. What you get to create for people to live in, so they can say something a little even beyond that, to say, I'm in front of the castle that we've got over there. I'll put that back up on the wall. But there's a picture. You designed this room.
Yeah.
And you designed all of these rooms that she's got.
Yeah, there's 16 different walls that you can take your picture on.
Well, pretty amazing with regard
to all
of them.
There's a fish room. There's a giant red lip sofa that you can sit on with a pair of antique French phones you can call me on.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've got it all going on here. This is amazing work that you do. We're way off of our normal list of things I want to cover here, but that's because we've got so much good information that we're talking about.
We do a lot of concept through completion. That's what we're known for. We can take you, whether you're a business or whether you're a homeowner, down to the very last detail. It's the level of detail that we offer that makes us different.
Well, I'm going to go and click on some of the pictures you've got for your actual work over there too, for the houses that you work. This is your work too, but a lot of people are looking for the stuff that you do.
Yeah, this is that 1904 house. This is the dining room that goes to the kitchen. I had to turn around to even see what you. Oh, there it is.
There it is up in front of you.
I didn't have to turn around.
It's up on the screen.
So we spent 2 years on this house. That is the new master bathroom that we created.
Wow.
And we had to do a study to be able to fit an elevator in there down the road. So there is a dead space built into the master bedroom for the elevator to come up.
For the elevator. Pictures.
When they're ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, some people, that's a necessity. A little more work.
That's that rendering. That's a room that doesn't exist. That's one that we rendered for the.
Who built this room? This looks amazing.
We're getting ready. We're getting ready to build that room.
That is awesome. Okay, and more work here.
This had a step-up bathtub. This is a little 2-story house in Chesterfield, and everybody told her she couldn't have a freestanding tub. She had a little tiny shower, and I just kept looking at the space, and the cabinet people, the contractor, everybody argued with me, and I said, you know, what if we bump the shower out into the bay and put glass sides on it?
Well, the work you've got here is absolutely amazing, and that's why I wanted to make sure and put those up on the wall for everybody to see, and then we can talk about them a little bit. Tell me though, I mean, gosh, we got so much to talk about, and we're already 24 minutes in here, and there's a lot more that we need to get into.
Well, Cowboy, you're a lot of fun to talk to. Well, I'm glad I met you, and I'm glad we got to do this together.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're always looking for the people who just do it right and show people how to get the best out of life, and whatever angle that is. You've got a couple quick great reviews we're going to go over here real quickly, and these were taken off the site. We brought them over here, so I'm going to read one of these. This is from Nancy. It says, I've worked with many decorators through the years, and CJ Knapp is hands down the very best of them. She listens carefully to what you prefer and to your budget, and then she delivers something beyond the wildest hopes. And she goes on a little bit more there, but that's a great review from somebody that really obviously has done a little bit of this and says, if you're going to do it, you got to work with a pro like yourself, and you did a great job for her. Andrea says, CJ was there every step of the way. I had many ideas, and she brought my new fresh ideas that worked well with what I had in mind. She was totally respectful of my taste and helped us achieve our goals. we love our remodel. CJ is knowledgeable about lighting, home products, design, color, furniture, paint, and fabric. She is the total package. Wow, this is some great things, and we wanted to highlight those kinds of things because those are actual customers that are talking about it. And she's got many more reviews out there. You can see them. They're on Angie's List and a number of other websites and places. And some of those you get on your website too. So we appreciate just the overall for what you've got here. With that, though, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make certain that we talk about some of the important things that I think we need to discuss, and we're going to get into this a little more depth. So again, if you're jumping in here late in the show and you're watching this live on ABC here in St. Louis, this is just part of the show. What we're going to also talk about, because I know these questions, I write them all down because I want to make sure I cover them all, but the ones that always strike me are like, what are the biggest mistakes? And we talked about that a little bit before, but I want you to help people understand, because when you make a mistake at Walmart buying towels, that's one thing. But when you make a mistake in the design of your house, this could be a major detriment. And it also maybe not just something that causes a long-term issue, but maybe they spent twice as much as they should have. And twice as much on $20,000 versus $40,000 is a big difference, or $100,000 versus $150,000. You're really cutting into people's savings.
So we're always very upfront about the money. We want to talk to you about it honestly, make sure you get a fair budget, tell you exactly what we're going to do, show you every way that we can what we're going to do, so you know what you're going to get and what it's going to cost you. I hear a lot of horror stories where somebody has spent $10,000 with a designer and they didn't get anything. Well, maybe they got more than they realized, but the designer didn't communicate to them what they were doing behind the scenes. The biggest mistakes that I see are when a client doesn't take the time to really find out what they want and what they need. They just they go to a home show, they see something, they decide to put it in, they hire somebody quickly, and that person puts in what they asked for, but it's not right for their house. I've had clients swear to me, there's nothing behind that wall, you can open that up. I want to open up to my dining room, and we say, well, I'm pretty sure there's some ductwork behind there. And we remove the wall, because we're not Superman, you can't see through it. But we can kind of tell from the structure above what's going on, and you find all this electrical wiring, you find all this ductwork that is not going to allow them to open the wall up. If you're not working with the right person, they'll go down that rabbit hole with you, and that'll cost you money, and then they'll have to put it all back together. We try to save you from having problems like that. We'll punch a hole in a wall so that we can see what's inside of it. We would rather patch a hole than have to put a whole wall back together. And you can remove a structural wall and cause real damage to your house if you don't have the right contractor and somebody that knows what they're doing with experience.
Very valuable information. CJ, thank you so much for joining us on the show here today.
Thanks for having me on.
This is a blast. We're going to give this full interview to her. Look at it on her website. Look at our social media. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned for more. This is the Your Little Castle.